Okay, so it's been a while since I've done streaming. If anybody's watching this, I got sick a little while back, and after that, with the holidays and everything, I just kind of decided to take a nice long break. Um, but I've been thinking about upgrading a lot of the stuff on the website on toontitan.com, and one of the things that I've been like seriously thinking about was, doing a new version of Billy, Billy 3.0. And so this is going to be the very first stream in that series. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take me, but um, I've discovered Midjourney. It's a really good artificial intelligence tool. And uh, I've heard all the debates and everything. And quite frankly, as a 2D animator, I often recall the whole situation with 2D being dead and everything was going into the wave of 3D and everything. And this was quite a few years ago. And I remember having the same kind of arguments that people are having now. This is going to put artists out of work, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? This is a tool. Midjourney, artificial intelligence, is not going anywhere. The same thing that 3D animation did not go anywhere. For me, it was it was kind of I don't know, man, an eye opener to see animation being produced by animators who didn't necessarily know how to draw. And now with AI and all these people bitching and moaning about how artists are being put out of work and all this garbage, um, it's just nonsense. At the end of the day, it's a tool. When graphics tablets came out, digital art, oh no, that's cheating, blah blah blah. Everything has to be done on paper and pencil, and you know and then not only that, then the graphic displays where you can draw directly on the thing came out, and that just made pencils pretty much obsolete for the most part. Um, so now, you know what, I've over the last few years I have come to the realization that when new technologies arrive, you pretty much have to embrace them, otherwise you're going to be left behind. So yeah, last few days I've actually been focusing on learning Midjourney, and this is not um, what I thought it was. I thought it was one of those things where you just tell it what you want it to draw for you, and the AI will draw it for you. And technically, it is, but to have the level of control that you need to actually be able to produce something that you can use as an artist, your vision, put it out there, it takes some work, man. It takes some work and understanding how the AI works and the prompts and the language used. It's almost like a form of coding. So yeah, and it's one of those things where I have a long way to go, but I've actually been experimenting with, and I do think that this is going to come in handy at the very least to be able to produce concept art. If you can knock down the concept art part, I mean, this thing lets you just generate hundreds or thousands of different concept art ideas and tweak it down and create your style and be able to bring it out. And of course, if you do have the skills to actually use another software and be able to build stuff from scratch, you're just going to use this as a tool, just kind of build yourself up and just give yourself an extra superpower. So I've been thinking about Billy 3. And for those of you guys who are not familiar, Billy and Billy 2.0 are characters that I developed for cartoon animators, fully rigged 2D characters, multi-dimensional characters. It allows anybody who uses Cartoon Animator, Crazy Talk Animator, the ability to be able to use these 2D rigs, post them in pretty much any angle that you want, um, and use motion capture to speed up the animation workflow. That alone is a major game changer. So let's see if I can go to toontitan.com here. And how do I? Oh, okay, I have to switch to Canvas. So this is Titan.com. It's a very basic build website. It does what it needs to do. Here's some of my characters, and I'll show you Billy 1.0 first. I think I still have him up here somewhere. So this was Billy 1.0. He was mostly hand drawn. Well, he was hand drawn digitally. Very crude. It was, I was still learning a lot of the techniques and everything to build these characters and how to get the best out of, the vector-based SWF format with Cartoon Animator and all that good shit. So then came Billy 2.0. And Billy 2.0 is one of the most advanced multidimensional characters. He's very visually appealing. Uh, he was very popular. And the thing about Billy was that it's not just a character, it's an entire framework. And basically, anybody who uses this character uh, can mix and match Billy 2.0 compatible body parts and modifications to generate all sorts of characters from that. So you can mix and match the heads, the jackets, the shirts, shoes, all that stuff. And if there's enough assets that you can mix and match with, technically you could produce something that's completely original just by mixing and matching and modifying parts. But he is getting old, and I think it's time for an update. And so in this series, what I'm going to be doing is that I am going to be um, I'm going to be updating him, and I'm going to be using Midjourney AI to generate the concept art and style ideas for what I'm working with. So eventually, I mean, this thing is not going to do everything for you. I've already experimented. I've thought about, you know, getting it to do all the four main poses that I need: the front, the side, the quarter view, the back view. I have them do the T pose, have it generate everything in orthographic view, and then maybe I could just either vectorize the damn thing inside of Adobe Animate and just cut out the pieces, which would be ideal. And maybe in about a year, once this technology becomes a little bit more um, uh, advanced, it might be possible. But for now, really, where it stands out is in the concept art. Let's see here. Okay, so this is some of the stuff that I was working on last night. I'm just gonna rewind, and I started out by, and I'm gonna be doing everything from scratch again, just to so I can kind of arrive at the same um, um, type of character that I want to build. But just to kind of give you guys an idea, I started out with a prompt, a basic prompt. I told it, generate a glamour shot full body image of a handsome black boy who has afro hair, only black hair, wearing a green t-shirt, blue jeans, sneakers. So that pretty much describes your Billy 2.0 character. And what the AI spat out was this guy here, which is a fairly close representation using somewhat photorealistic characters. So not bad, not bad. So what you do then is that you select the item that you want and you refine it. You basically reward the AI. You tell it, hey, this was a really good representation. I want to see more like this, and generate more versions of based on this. So here's another one, and let's see here. Can we? No, I don't have the thing. I'm gonna switch back to this. I think that it's smaller on a video screen, but it allows me to show the entire image. Hey man, how's it going? Well, if you need any assistance or have any ideas, feel free to throw them my way. Um, Thank you for purchasing him. He is one of the more advanced characters out there. But yeah, if you need any assistance with that, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. And I haven't been online in a while, so it's not that you've missed me. It's just that I haven't been around. I got a little sick, and after that, I just kind of I didn't want to do anything for a while. I just wanted to kind of uh, enjoy my stories. Have you guys caught that new Last of Us series? Man, that thing is fire. I'm not sure about episode 3 though, but I mean, for the most part, that show's killing it. So then, I continue to generate this. So the idea is that I'm building a Billy 3.0 character, and I'm just kind of refining it and tweaking it. We're still sticking with the handsome Afro, the handsome black boy with an Afro haircut, green shirt, blue jeans, and sneakers. So I'm still playing with that idea. I just refined it a little bit more, and I continue to just toggle around until I get something that I really like and that I know I can build from. And I'm gonna be doing this from scratch just so you guys can see and I can be able to document my progress. But this is what I did yesterday, and I mean, people think of this AI thing as some magic pill, and it's not. I mean, this thing can even draw hands, and you have to really massage it and tweak it and just work with it until you get what you want. So it's almost like drawing something from scratch, but in a fucking different methodology. Oh, that's great that you found those, man. Yeah, man. The hands, man. It'll always draw hands with like fingers and all wonky stuff. Um, it's really crazy. So here's another version of that. So I'm still gonna kept refining and refining. And at some point, I made a selection. I ended up liking this guy, so I decided to start working with him as a base. And I started, just gathering the what they call the seed. And this is something I didn't know about. Apparently, it creates like this fuzzy cloud. The thing that if you use Photoshop, if you're an advanced user, you can generate a cloud in Photoshop and then add random noise to it, and it creates this really crazy combination of clouds and noise and stuff. And the idea is that, for example, if you're outside, you look at a cloud and you start seeing little images and stuff on the clouds, and oh, that's a dragon or that's a dog or whatever. That's the kind of thing you do in Photoshop, and you start developing that noise in those clouds into actual patterns and things that you can use in work. So I'm thinking this is what the AI is doing. It generates a random cloud, which it calls a seed, and from there it gets those shadows and those lights and starts building it out, kind of like sticking its eyes at it, and it's like, oh, I see this image of this mountain there. I'm gonna build that. Okay, and now I kind of see that there's this river there. I'm gonna throw that in there. And when I started hearing about all this AI stuff, I was thinking, oh man, this is just grabbing uh, um, stuff from different artists and like collaging them together and stuff. And that's not even how it works at all, man. It's crazy what I've learned in the last few days about this stuff. Um, so here's a variation of that image with that new seed. And basically what it's doing is so it grabs that seed and it's just like your static representation of cloud, and you're using that same cloud. So based on that same cloud, it's gonna say, okay, these are the eyes that I see, this is the nose that I see, this is the mouth that I see. So then you start getting into a little bit more of consistency. So as long as you start, once you find that cloud, that seed that you like, you're gonna start generating characters that pretty much look the same or more consistent going forward. So as you can see here, this kid, he looks very similar now. So then you pick the best one. You reward the AI by telling it, "Hey, this, you did a great job here. Now let's do some more variations." Now we're gonna add. It is, man. It's a crazy useful tool. Yeah, I think I saw a bunch of those last few days, and I've been learning about that, man. And it's crazy. It's crazy. There's so much to learn. I thought it was just one of those things where you just go in like Chat GPT and tell it what you want it to do for you, and it does it. And yes, it does do that, but you have control over it. And because it's AI, of course, whatever random crap that you put in there is gonna be beautiful, but it's not what's in your head, you know. And okay, so here I started implementing styles. I started going, Billy is a handsome black boy, short afro hair, all black hair, wearing green t-shirt, blue jeans, sneakers. Uh, but I'm also using that seed that I like, and I come up with this. And now it's giving me also additional style options and stuff that it's just kind of throwing in there because it has this. I'm giving it this style trigger here, 750, which gives the AI some flexibility as to, just use your own creative judgment and just give me something. Maybe I like it, maybe I won't. So so here's where we were at with that. So I'm gonna keep skipping forward, skipping forward. I mean, this went through so many iterations. I'm gonna continue skipping. We started getting some really good results around uh, around like 2 3 hours into it. So I mean, if I were doing this traditionally and I already had the idea in my head, I mean, I'm pretty sure I could have come up with the concept art in within those 2 3 hours, exactly the way that I wanted it. But ultimately, this is like having a concept artist that works for you. It's just throwing ideas at you, and holy crap, I like that a million times better than what I would have come up with, and it's still along the lines of what I want. So, so the extra time, it's well justified, I think. So here's a really nice one here. Did you ever finish scanning your book? I own your book, Flash Animation. Man, yes, I did. I'm actually planning on updating it now that I have it scanned. As soon as I find some time, probably around July, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna turn it into a video series. I'm gonna update it, and I'm gonna make it based on the latest version of Adobe Animate, and I'm gonna incorporate it with Cartoon Animator and Unreal Engine and all that stuff. Because I mean, the book itself, it's a little outdated, I know, but since you own the book, I mean, you can probably tell that a lot of the information there is perfectly relevant. You know, how to write a screenplay, how to design characters, which has nothing to do with the software version that you use, how to tell stories, how to storyboard, all that good junk. Well, that would be awesome, man. I'm gonna be releasing it on YouTube for free. Hopefully, I'll have a lot more subscribers by then. Where, uh, you know, I don't really make any money on YouTube. I'm not a YouTuber, and that's not something I want to be. But I've always enjoyed just making the information available free for everybody. And I'm thinking that if the YouTube channel continues to grow and somehow I manage to produce better content, just the advertising revenue might actually build up and pay for it, or at least, whatever I would make if I were selling it directly. Also, um, what do I want to say? the subscriptions, do live things, and most of my money that I do make from YouTube is because when I'm here, people become aware of what I do. So either they hire me or they go to my website and they'll buy stuff like Puppet Producer and Toon Titan and these characters. So ultimately, I have made a hell of a lot more money through the sales of the digital stuff on toontitan.com than I have ever made through YouTube. I think I make like $2-3 a month from YouTube. But yeah, yeah, donations are always accepted and things like that. So I think uh, I think keeping the content for free. I mean, the fact that I have an entire book, a very concise course material, I think that's gonna help me and to be able to just fill this channel with like really valuable content and just be able to provide it for free. Just yeah, make donations, click on the advertisements. Even if you don't care about the product, you might see an advertisement, you click on there, I get like 3 cents out of it. So look at this guy, man. He looks freaking beautiful. So, even this guy alone right here, I could probably just stop and be able to work with this guy as my concept art. And, I can build the character turnarounds myself. I love his body proportions. Uh, looks great. And he's consistent now with the kind of look that I'm trying to go for in my head for the 3.0 version of Billy. Here's some other stuff. I just kept playing around with the more Marvel Comics type of look. Here's some more. So, I'm just gonna skip ahead because I want to start playing with it, so people can kind of get an idea of how this works. And I might have already arrived at the final art that I kind of want to work with, based on the work that I did last night. But who knows? Maybe I'll come across something that I end up liking better in this session. Could you use iClone to build a model? I've thought about that, and there's a lot of stuff that I still need to learn. But technically, with Character Creator, you could generate profiles of these characters in the front view, and if you can control the lighting so that it's I forgot what the terminology is, so that it has lighting with no hard shadows, soft lighting, so it doesn't produce all this crazy shit. I'm pretty sure you can generate a an image that then you can use inside of um, Character Creator to have it generate an automatic 3D model for you, and then there you can take it further and just kind of tweak the parameters for the different morphs and stuff. Um, yeah, all the basic toon shade stuff you can do it in here, and I do have some new techniques that I've played around with inside of iClone that makes your characters look more cartoony without actually using that cell shaded, that fake cell shading that kind of just makes everything look like garbage. I'm gonna be making some videos of that pretty soon because I think that's a really good technique also. So yeah, you can actually make like really nice flat vector looking characters in iClone and cartoon character creator without actually using that cartoon renderer, and it's actually not that hard at all. Look at this guy. I mean, he is beautiful. So yeah, once you get a character that you like, you kind of start experimenting with it, and once you have a seed that you're comfortable with that generates consistent characters every time, you can start putting him in different situations and styles and actions and things. Here's a little bit of anime influences. Yeah, yeah, it's really amazing how like some people could just get iClone to do all these like really nice looking cartoon looking stuff without necessarily um, using the filters. That's the main problem that I have with the filters. It also affects the backgrounds, the environments, and all that stuff, and the character. So even if you can get your character to look right, once you put it like a house or a tree or whatever in the background, then that house is so affected by that toon shader, and it just all goes out the window, man. This guy. So look at this guy here. So this is more in line as what I'm probably going to end up doing once everything's put together. I'm going for a sort of a flat vector look, of course, because I'm going to be making this in Adobe Animate using vector art. And so I'm trying to match the final style the way that I'm going to be uh, using it. At this point, I'm also, generating character sheets with different angles and expressions, and it's um, just generating potential like character models and stuff. Here's a picture of Billy that I uploaded of the original one. I was attempting to see if I can blend the original one with the new seed and see if it generates something. I didn't quite like the results. It came up with this. This was a blend of using that Billy 2.0 with the new seed in Midjourney. It's not bad. It's not bad, but ultimately, I want this new character to just kind of pop out, and just be like, damn, how the hell did he make that? Um, because once you combine the Adobe Animate and Cartoon Animator, I mean, when done well, uh, you can get some really really advanced looking stuff inside of Cartoon Animator, which is like a super super simple tool. It's kind of sad, really. I mean, with Cartoon Animator, the way it's going, it's just been going downhill for the last three versions, and very disappointed in the direction that they've gone. Nowadays, to me, it's really more of a fancy video game. If you guys remember Mario Paint on the Super Nintendo, badass video game, Mario Paint, and people, some people used it to make little short film stuff. You pop in your video VHS tape and you record your TV screen and stuff, and so you manage to uh, man, I remember having like two VCRs, recording Mario Paint on one VCR, and then hitting play on one VCR, getting all my scenes, and just hitting the pause button, record, pause, grab clips from one VCR into the other, and putting together my short films. And then for the audio, because we had like analog audio video plugs in the back of the VCR, I would unplug the audio and just not record any audio. But then I would plug it in and unplug the video, rewind the videotape, and just record my voice over that. It would allow me to just kind of. It was so weird, man. It was so cool. It was such a fun learning experience. Just nobody ever did that, but for anything useful, other than some like gimmicky little short films. But Mario Paint was badass. That's all I remember, and it was a video game. It was fun. People would play at art, play at animation, and that's kind of what cartoon animator has become. It's not so much a tool for professionals anymore. It's not so well. It almost was, but it's not so much a tool for professionals. But it is a tool for hobbyists and uh, people who love playing at animation. And so it's really good. But in the hands of somebody who knows what they want, yeah, it's a powerful tool, man. There's just not that many people using it for that purpose, just like Mario Paint. So, to me, cartoon animators really more of a really expensive art genre video game, and it's gonna take a long time or a lot of convincing to change my mind. Yeah, learning to use the right props is the key. in Midjourney. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, eventually, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go back to having the ability to have multiple angle characters with the SVG stuff, which still is a pain in the ass because there's no real professional tools for creating SVG artwork. I mean, there's Illustrator, but Illustrator is so cumbersome, and you got to use Bezier curves and all this. Every little point has to be placed in. It's got the freaking layer system that's like horizontal, and Flash was always the better choice for this type of work because you could just work in a canvas, draw, ink and paint naturally and everything. And it does produce SVG, so I'm not entirely sweating it. So when the day comes that that Cartoon Animator can produce multi-dimensional characters again, even if they do choose to stay with SVG, I'm perfectly fine because I know that Flash or Adobe Animate can produce SVG files. So uh, I'm probably going to create a new version of Puppet Producer or a new type of extension that to allow that to be fed up some more, so you don't have to think about the technical side. But it's just a waiting game for me at this point. I'm just gonna wait and see, maybe in the next version of CTA or version 6. I've been saying that since version 2. Maybe in the next version. Maybe in the next version. It just keeps going downhill. My biggest gripe with Cartoon Animator 5 right now is that they neutered the ability to manipulate the render styles. The system, they added the new coloring system for SVGs, but they took away the vector grouping tool that allows you to adjust the colors and just kind of choose the vector groups for SWF files. So if you are creating G2 characters in Cartoon Animator 5, um, you can still do it, but you can no longer edit the vector grouping uh, uh, things, the vector grouping options. You can't edit that anymore. So you will not have the ability to change your character's t-shirt color, pants color, all that stuff if you so choose to do it. So I do recommend just stick to Cartoon Animator 4 if you work with G2 characters because there's really nothing that appealing about Cartoon Animator 5 to really, make you want to upgrade. They do have the little thing with the extra movement, the chain reaction, the stuff. I forgot what they call it, and they do have the SVG vector grouping tool, but that's not enough. That's not something I probably will ever use because I don't work with SVG. I prefer SWF format. Um, I can create entire animation in. I mean, just last night I was building a scene that required a lot of rain and like little droplets falling on the ground and things like that. You can't do it with SVG. You can't do animated SVG. You have to use Adobe Animate, animation tool that can produce animation. So yeah, spring bones. Um, but I went into Flash. Took me like 15 minutes to generate the rain animation cycle, the little water droplets that I needed. Dropped them as SWF movies inside of Cartoon Animator 5, and boom, I had instant rain and everything. You cannot do that unless you continue to support the SWF format, and that's gonna be the thing that breaks the camel's back for me. If they stop supporting SWF altogether, I'm done with that tool. I am so done. I'll probably continue to build assets and things like that for other people who do work with it, but me, as a person who actually uses it, I'm just not. I'm not gonna deal with it anymore. So here's some more concept art. It's like a sheet of expressions with different styles. I'm just gonna fast forward towards the end. Check this guy out. This is a little bit more in line as to what I'm gonna end up with. So yeah, Midjourney, man, Midjourney is. I am very, very impressed by the kind of stuff that you can do, and I'm definitely gonna be making it part of my tool set, my toolkit. Um, there's more concept art. So it's a more realistic uh, type of thing. Character animator. Uh, Character animator is at a stage where maybe Cartoon Animator 2 was back in the day. I don't like that it also doesn't support the SWF format, so I don't use it. If it did, I would. I don't like that you require Adobe Illustrator. I think Adobe Illustrator is a very cumbersome piece of software. Unless you're one of the technically minded artists out there who like to draw with the mouse and you use the little points and stuff, and you build your artwork using better shapes as opposed to actually drawing them and just kind of drawing them more natural. I just don't like Adobe Illustrator. It was just something that was really meant to be used for logos and flat vector art. So I see a lot of the potential it has. I love the trigger mechanisms that they implemented. Um, it's still in an age where the characters you create are the equivalent of the G1 characters or G3 characters, which only have the front view. I mean, G1 characters and G2 characters in CTA are pretty much the same thing, especially now that you actually have vector. Because G1 characters were always vector based. So that is again back to the original G1 characters where you just have the one angle. You got to choose which angle you want to use, and I really just I like having the complete rig that I could just draw my puppet in, pose them any way I like, and and it's not one of those things where I expect the animation to come out perfectly fine from a G2 character, because it does have sprite switching, and if it switches from one sprite to another in a way that the sprites are very different, you see this pop, and it's kind of jarring and stuff. And it's very understandable that because of the type of audience that Reallusion caters to, that they're just going to leave it as is, and they're not going to be satisfied. Oh, look, it looks like shit. But if you know what you're doing, there's nothing stopping you from generating the animation as a base animation the way that you want it to be, and then taking that animation back into Flash or back into Photoshop as a frame by frame animation, and just polish it up. Fix that one sprite that popped. Just smooth it out, add some blurs, add some smears and stuff, and you really can create stuff that looks like classical hand drawn animation using G2 characters. You just got to be willing to actually do a little bit more work after you've done the base stuff. The base stuff will take you 15, 30 minutes, and then you'll go in with your other tools, fix that animation so that visually you get rid of all those crazy little pops and jarring little movements, uh, and ultimately all that time is still going to be hours and days worth of time that you're still not doing had you just done it straight out, pose by pose or hand drawn or whatever. So it still speeds up the workflow. You just got to be able to do that extra little step and not leave it there. um, you can also lock the angles that you want. So you have this full G2 character. You can pick the angle that you want to display, lock it to that point. There's no sprite switching at all. So even if you're animating stuff like Dora the Explorer, which is pretty much the only type of animation that you can do in Cartoon Animator 5, where the characters are, hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. I am a robot, or now I am at this angle and I'm talking like this. I'm a talking head. There's not a lot of performance that you can get out of that, but there are some children's style animation that you can do within a single angle, and that's perfectly. You can do that with G2 characters. You just pick the angle that you want, lock it in there so it doesn't sprite switch on you, and animate him, and he'll stay at that angle. And then you switch to another scene, change your angle, do 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 do. It's all just a matter of getting the work done, really. I played around with Stable Diffusion a little bit. I really like I probably like the result of Stable Diffusion a little bit more than Midjourney, based on what I've experienced. But the interface is a little bit, it takes more getting used to. I really like this being able to work within Discord. I thought it was like a really weird idea that they did it that way. It's very simplified because at the end of the day, I don't want to be getting my hands dirty and too much, with concept art. Concept art is one of those things where a director will just hire a concept artist to just draw a bunch of shit for me, and I'll pick what I like, and we'll take it from there. So that's kind of this AI stuff is doing for me, and the Discord is just very, very, very efficient and streamlined so far. Look at this guy here. I like the colors. I'm not too sure about the actual character design, but I do like the colors. So this is where I ended up with yesterday. All right, so let's see how we're doing for time. So we're gonna be doing about an hour's worth of just screwing around and just kind of document what I did yesterday and how I went about generating a concept art for Billy 3.0. So in Midjourney, I am going to just create a new channel inside of my private server here. That way, I can keep everything um, in its own little folder, I guess you could call it. I'm gonna call it Billy 3 Concept YouTube. All right, so I have a clean channel. Nothing's been done on it yet. And I'm going to start with a basic text prompt of what I'm looking for, right? So um, let me pull up an image of the original Billy. For those who don't know, coming in late or whatever. So I just gotta basically, verbalize an idea of what I'm looking at here, and try to get Midjourney to produce something as close to this as possible as a starting point. So I'm going to, let's see here. Hmm, I don't know how to pull this off in a way that I can show people what's going on. So that's the Billy guy. Oh, this is gonna go under the window. Yeah, if you're doing this just for playing around, you're doing it in the public thing, you lose everything. And even when you're jumping from project to project, you can uh, create individual channels inside of your own server, so that, for one, you can do a lot of experimentation on your own. Like here, I'm also experimenting with generating 360 uh, 360 artwork that maybe I can map inside of a sphere, inside of iClone, so I can have an instant sphere of like a park or a city or something all around you, and you put the camera there. No matter where you point, you're seeing something. So this is my experimentation channel. So I'm keeping everything. See, I've been experimenting with generating faces for use in character creation. And then this was the channel that I was using yesterday for Build 3.0 concept art. So now we got this new one. All right, so we're gonna start with. Um, I'm just gonna copy some stuff from this previous one. A general description of what I want, and always starts with the little prompt: imagine space, and this is my description of Billy. And I don't know if I should add anything else right now since I'm starting from scratch. Um, Maybe emphasize big eyes and big mouth. Uh, I don't know. But I describe him as a handsome black boy with short afro hair. I want to only use black hair. I want to make sure that it doesn't give me any crazy colors and stuff. Uh, he's wearing a green t-shirt, blue jeans, and sneakers. I'm gonna I'm just gonna do it like this for now and just see what happens. And I think I'm gonna play around with big eyes, big ears, and big mouth just to kind of see what it gives me. But I may or may not use that. So it's building it now. Disney Pixar style. I'm I don't want to. I'm trying not to use like well-known styles that are used by other companies or artists, but I'm gonna do that right now just for the sake of seeing what it looks like. So I guess people who are looking at this, they can kind of see what the kind of stuff that can be done. So this is what it came up with. Um, let's try that. Let's try a Disney. Let's try a Disney princess style. How about that? Because I know the Disney princesses, the ones that are definitely have the big eyes and the pointy mouth and the stuff like that. Let's try Disney princess style. Let's see what it does. It's gonna put little pigtails. The application did not respond. Okay. It doesn't like it. Why doesn't it like it? Maybe they're cutting down on potential copyright stuff. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep it simple for now, and then I'm gonna start generating the actual like different poses and things. And the I don't want to jump too far in. I want to try to focus on the facial features and try to lock down a consistent style first, and then I'm gonna um, actually like playing around with actual styles. Because like, as you can see here, I got all over the place. This guy looks like he's 20 years old. This guy has like a really wide head. This kid here on the bottom lower right hand side, he actually looks kind of nice. He kind of does look like the look that I'm going for. Uh, one, two, three, four, five fingers and a thumb. So he's got six fingers on each hand. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to fast mode. Yeah, I have it on relaxed mode. So we go to settings. Try to improve the speed at which it generates. See, like different style. Even though I'm not. Oh, well, I guess I did choose a pick some kind of style. This is their version of Disney, I guess. The influence. I haven't seen Disney art that looks like this, but saw a movie called Bebe's Kid that kind of looked like this. Okay, so adding in the style of Disney didn't quite work. I'm not gonna worry about that too much yet. I'm gonna try to get the kids' proportions and everything going. So I'm stuck with this guy. Handsome black boy, short afro hair, only black hair, wearing green t-shirt, blue jeans, sneakers. I'm gonna see what happens if I just tell it to give me bigger eyes. Hey, one gun, how's it going, man? Oh, I've been enjoying myself, dude. I've just been watching TV and eating and gaining weight and just just learning about Midjourney AI. I got sick for a while, and like right before the New Year's, and I just didn't really feel like getting back to it. It was just been, you know. But I'm at a point now where I'm kind of getting ready to get back to work. Nice hair, thank you. Probably gonna keep it like this for another couple of weeks before I change it again. T-shirt, blue jeans, sneakers, big eyes. Should I say big lips, or big mouth? Big lips, big ears. Yeah, I'm just focusing on the character's facial features, and then I'm gonna start experimenting with styles and poses and things like that. Well, I appreciate it, man. I caught part of your stream earlier today. Are you done with your stream for today, or are you just kind of taking a break and trolling me? He definitely has big ears. So once I build this prompt and it starts generating the character that I want, okay. Once I build this prompt, get a fairly consistent character that I want, I'm gonna keep this prompt exactly as is as my subject. And then later on, because later on, if I start modifying stuff, it's gonna change the look of the character. So I need to keep this as close as possible as I want. And later on, if I just want to change the hairstyle, I gotta come into this placeholder here and say, curly hair. Or if I want to change his hair to blue, I just replace this part here, and it prevents me from modifying the rest of the prompt, which will basically keep the character looking pretty much the same, but only modifying that one little piece of the text. So let's see what happens when we add big eyes, big lips, and big ears. I have no idea what to expect. I haven't added the word cartoon to it, so it's not giving me too much of an exaggeration. In fact, I should probably take a look at my settings again to see what my stylization setting is. So I got it on medium uh, stylization. So which means it's almost like a zero. I think it's not using a lot of, it's not taking too many liberties in terms of stylization. I can do stylization high, or I can just manually input a number that I want. Um, let's see what we got here. It's not bad. Now, Billy himself should be about 13, 14 years old now. I think he was like anywhere between 8 to 10 years old in Billy 2.0. But I want to age him up this time around. I'm thinking he should be around 14 years old, a little edgier. I kind of like this guy here on the bottom left. Um, but it's definitely giving me bigger eyes. It's naturally giving me a bigger nose, even though I didn't ask for one. Yeah, the three legs are freaking crazy. But I mean, even if I choose this guy with the three legs, I think that can be fixed or modified so that going forward it doesn't be a spider character. But his face is, I like his face, and I like this guy's face too. The one on the um, bottom right. Um, hmm. Let's do a couple of rolls. One, two, three. Let's see what kind of variations we can get from this description, and see if something in there will just kind of pop out at us. I like how while it's generating, it gives you a somewhat of a preview, but once it finishes, it looks nothing like the preview. Man, this kid looks freaking awesome. I love him. Look at this kid. This kid on the upper right hand corner. I mean, that's not what I'm going for, but he's freaking awesome looking. This bottom left is kind of nice. Yeah, I think I am going to keep the big eyes and big lips and the big ears. Definitely has a lot of Billy 2.0 influences there. So we got big eyes, big ears, big lips. Uh, I'm not too concerned with the actual styles yet. That's something that will kind of grow into. But it is generating a lot of younger characters, and I need him to be a little bit more on the older side. Um, this kid looks really nice right here. The upper right side, we just got to age him up a little bit. He's got earrings. I'm not sure if I want that to be part of the seed, because if I select this guy, it'll probably be adding the earrings going forward. Mm, it's here. Wow. All right, let's take a gamble. Damn it, this looks pretty damn good too. This bottom left, a little shorter hair and a little younger might be good. Hmm, very tempting. I am going to ask it to upscale this upper right corner one. Let's try that. We're gonna actually, you know what? We're gonna leave the same exact prompt. We're gonna request the seed, so it generates the same image basically. Copy, go back to the message, imagine, and we're gonna get this guy here, same exact prompt. No earrings. See, let's see what it does. It should basically be pretty much the same exact image as this, but without the earrings. If those are earrings, who knows what the AI thinks it's doing? Maybe it's the hair bands or something, or maybe it's like part of the ear. Okay, well, it's not quite the same image. Let's take a look if the kid looks the same. Yeah, he's pretty much the same face. But not. He's got he's got he's got his hand. He's got his shoes on his hands. Look at this guy. He's riding on a shoe on the Oh damn. Wow. It's just like riding. What's up? That's a modern nursery rhyme here. The little boy who rode on a shoe. Okay, I didn't like that. Oh, I guess I could probably re-roll it a couple times. I'll forget about that. I do like the age. The aging on this guy looks like these two guys here on the right hand side is giving me an age close to what I want the character to be. Why does he keep generating? Oh, am I looking at the wrong one? No, it keeps generating images with the shoes in this, the hands in his shoes, and this other guy here riding on a shoe. The eyes are starting to look a bit creepy though. I'm not sure I like it. Let's see if we can limit the style. Well, let's generate it one more time. This actually, we're gonna turn off the remix because I think that remix thing also has some kind of thing where it continues to blend things further. So we don't want it to blend anything. So imagine da, 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 style zero. I don't want to change anything. It's, it should generate the same image from before. Oh, I didn't put, damn it. I didn't put the seed number. This is kind of cute. It kind of did it without the original seed. It just kind of just kept going like an alternative version. That's kind of cute. Let's see what happens. So no style or no style changes using the previous seed. This guy in the upper left looks nice. Okay, let's go back to this guy. Let's upscale it. Image 2. We can probably remove the earrings later on once we have it down, I guess. Because aside from the earrings, everything else about that character I kind of like. Okay. Definitely don't like, I do like this guy here. But I definitely don't like these. I'm going to get rid of this one just to clean out my chat history. Okay. We're doing pretty good on time so far. So, yeah, we're just going to spend the rest of this hour just kind of going through the process. And the thing about this is, once you get to the point where you want to keep uh, getting a consistent character, it's going to take a lot of iterations. It's going to take like 10, 15, 20 times of like just rewarding the AI and telling it, yeah, this is what I like, this is what I want more of this. Look at this kid. And ultimately, I'm not using the thing straight as is anyway. So even if I can't get rid of the earrings later on, or which I know I can, it's concept art. I just when I start drawing this character by hand, I just leave out the earrings, right? This kid is perfect, but I know I won't be getting this kid every time I do other projects with it. I need to be able to ensure that I get this consistent look. So let's reward the system by telling it yes, you did good. All right, and we're gonna make variations. And I think no, this was probably right. I want variations without drastic style changes yet. So I have the remix function turned off. It looks it looks good. It's so good that I'm having a hard time choosing which one of these I like better as the reward mechanism. Let's kind of see if we can spot any defects. Maybe if I get rid of defects. Oh, here's one without earrings. We'll go with that, even though I like this guy's shoes better. But here's one without earrings. So we'll upscale this guy. And I I turned off the remix function because remix does additional stylization blends and it creates very drastic changes between iterations. Um, it's not a bad thing because if you have it turned on, then you add additional prompt stuff before you generate the next batch. I have found that by turning that off right now, I can ensure a more consistent look in the remaining generations that I do. But I am going to turn it on in a little bit. I'm going to do a couple more because maybe I want him to look. Once I get the look, like right now, I'm getting the look without the earrings. When I get it the way I want, like that, I can turn remix on and I can start playing around with. Yeah, okay, throw me some different age categories or whatever. Make them a little older. So here is the upscaled version. He has smaller ears. That's what it is. But it's still better than the big earrings. Um, I like the cartoon style. I'm not even, I guess because I'm also rewarding it. I'm telling it, okay, I want to see more like this. It's automatically also giving me uh, more versions of that particular style, which I'm still gonna be able to change it later on if I want it to be more realistic or photorealistic and stuff. So I give it its little cookie. I tell it, yes, you did good. Um, I'm gonna turn on remix mode. So I did I didn't go into settings all the way. I basically type in slash remix and hit enter 2 times, and that should turn it on. So we'll do variations. So now it gives me this. I still have the same prompt. I don't want to change any of this because I want to try to keep things the same. Um, V4. I'm gonna let it continue using this. I'll use the same seed option. Did I do something? Expected a value. Mm, I guess I'm supposed to use the actual seed. Okay, let's try that. Let's see if we can grab it. Unless I'm just flat out misspelling it and it's supposed to be 2 words instead of one, but we'll see. Let's try it again. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. No. Mm, I wonder if this has to do with the version of Midjourney that I'm using. Unrecognized argument. Let me look this up real quick. No, I am doing it correctly. It might have to do with a version number. Let's try it again. If it doesn't work, then I'm not going to bother with it because I don't want to switch back to version 3 or anything like that. So I'm just going to specify the seed number. Okay, it doesn't work. So I'm not going to mess with that right now. What I am going to do is I'm going to remix it, but I am going to add the seed value of the previous one. Make variations. That one. Hmm. I don't think I'm going to like this generation. Yeah, I don't like them. Definitely going too far off the reservation here. Let's do one more roll. Let's do another one like this also without the specifying the seed. What same seed is supposed to do is supposed to use the same seed on every single image as opposed to using a different seed for each one. That's how you get the different variations uh, in all four images. But by using that same seed parameter, we can we can like further ensure a consistent look and feel across additional generations. So yeah, I don't like how any of these came out. So I'm just gonna go back, delete, delete, delete. All right, so here what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a variation. We're gonna have it create a character sheet, and we're gonna switch our aspect ratio to 4:3, maybe. So it has a more of a square shape, but more not a square, but slight rectangle, which should give me more room for like two or three different poses inside of the sheet. The 4:3 is what's called the Academy aspect ratio, which is what traditional animation is drawn at. Even if you're creating animation using 16:9 or whatever, you typically do all your hand drawn artwork or your digital artwork on a 4:3 because then you can place that like even if you're doing Unreal Engine and you're doing something inside of Cartoon Animator, if you do your thing at a 4:3 or a 1:1, then you have like a square image where you can play around. You can place that inside of a 3D environment. It just works a lot better. And I messed up here. A aspect ratio 4:3. That should work. So another thing I can start doing, I think I need to be generating a few more things to like really ensure consistent look and feel. But another thing that I can start doing is that I can grab some upscaled images, re-upload them, and use that specific item as a reference. Look at this mess. Looks great. So, I mean, as far as concept art goes, you have multiple, the same face within the sheet within each sheet. And of course, as far as concept art goes, I mean, we got clothing from different angles. We got expressions. I like the the postures. The different like types of postures and stuff. That's kind of a weird post right there. I love it. This is like a typical artist, that can't draw hands. You put the hands in the pocket so you don't have to draw them. You've been busted mid. So let's do a couple more of these and see what else we can get out of it. One, two, three, And I guess now we can start playing with style. I mean, overall, the look and feel of the character seems like it's fairly consistent now. Um, so I can probably start playing around with like a different style to just try to iron out that flat vector look that closer to Adobe Animate, Flash, or that SWF vector. Wow, I love this coloring style. This right here with this shading, this it's a very interesting shading that I would have never thought of. This gets me a little closer to, well, at least the face to the kind of age that I want to give him. He might be a little too older here. I mean, he kind of still looks like what I'm trying to go for, like a 14-year-old kid. But in terms of a cartoonish type of 14-year-old kid, I guess this guy would also kind of, no, this is more like the actual age of what he is now. Let me see this one. Yeah, look at this guy here. Let's do one more. Um, who we pick from? Let's pick from this one. I'm really digging this bottom right hand corner guy here. I might end up moving towards this guy. He does give me that older 12, 13, 14-year-old kid vibe, and the style is kind of nice. Also, I want to see more of this flat shading. Let me let me just roll that one more time from there, see what happens. Might get lucky. It's definitely getting me closer to where I want to be with this character. Look at this. This guy looks pretty nice too on the bottom left. So hard to choose something. It's all right, let's do variations of this guy. Oh no, let's upscale him. And I'm also going to, I like this guy here. Upscale this guy, number 3. And we lost the earrings a while back, so I have no idea when we lost them. So that's kind of a good thing because we never specify earrings in the prompt, so there's no reason why they should be there. It keeps it very nice and compact. Wow, this fast mode is taking forever. So crazy. I had when I first started becoming aware of this whole AI stuff, I I didn't want to mess with it like too much either because I had it in my idea that you could just type shit and you get it done, but it does require work, you know. It does require your input and your finessing and massaging, and it requires you to do stuff. It's not just a matter of the computer doing the stuff for you. I really do like this coloring style. I wish I knew what the name of this particular style is because I would like to be able to just apply this style to everything. That's a really nice style. But being aware that once I actually do this by hand, there's nothing stopping me from painting my characters in this style. So definitely putting a little bookmark on this particular image because I do like the coloring style. Oh wow. That is freaking amazing. That is really nice. I don't know if you guys can see that. Look at this guy. That's Billy right there. That is my guy. Okay. I mean, this is nice and everything is too stylistic. It's really nice. That's a completely different look. So we're gonna reward the system, give it its little cookie, and we're gonna create variations. Now, let's kind of see what we can get as far as like artwork styles. Let's take a look at maybe animation, vector animation of a handsome black boy, short afro hair, only black hair, wearing green shirt, blue jeans, sneakers, big eyes, big lips, big ears, multiple poses. It's a sheet. We'll get rid of one of these V4s. Aspect ratio 4:3. Let's see what happens. I really love the way this kid's t-shirt is tucked into his pants, just the front part like this, like he doesn't care. That is that's kind of what Billy was. He has like this loosely half a thin shirt, like he doesn't care. It's just, whatever. It's like this thing is reading my mind. Okay. It has gone a little too far off the reservation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna request the seed. But this is the seed that I want to work with. I want to stick with that style. That's the one I'm gonna use from now on for everything. I really like that kid. I'm gonna keep him. I'm adopting him. I think that's the kid I need. Is aged more appropriately to what I want. Yeah, that's Billy. That's Billy right there. So let's do some more variations, but this time we're gonna keep that seed close as possible. Alright. I didn't like this one here. And I probably could have re-rolled it a couple more times. Yeah, let's do it while we're waiting. Why not? But I don't like it. I'm going to delete it automatically. I wish I knew what this style was called because I would love to maintain them that way. In fact, I'm going to experiment with something here. I am going to grab him, save image. Oh, I could just copy it. I don't have to save it. Yeah, I was trying to go a little too bright with the colors. I'm going to paste it in there, upload, grab the URL. Imagine that image. Okay, maybe the vector thing is influencing those bright colors. Probably where those bright colors are coming from. Oh, I didn't add the seed to that either. Let's see what it does when on top of that, I use the image prompt. I'm also going to, well, I'm going to wait for this to finish. I'm going to try to remix, not that one. Wonder what happens if I remix it with itself. Let me grab that image. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, it's going a little too far away from what I want. Here, keep playing with this guy. Mm, the problem is I don't have the seed number in here that I can put, but I mean it is its own image. So do I really need it for that? I don't know. That is gonna be weird. I'm basically prompting it with itself, with an image itself. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it just made it darker. Not a lot of difference. All right, I'm gonna throw this away because I don't want the distraction. It's just cute, but I don't need that distraction either. I need a character turnaround with this guy. So we need, let me see, handsome black boy, short afro hair, only black hair, yada yada yada, multiple poses, character sheet, flat muted colors, vector, illustration. Let's try no outlines. Let's see what it does. And I think I should be able to do it with the little two dashes too, but I'm gonna try just as a basic text prompt portion. Uh, I find that when it comes to things like outlines and stuff, it understands it better if you just write it out instead of doing the negative prompt thing. Recognized argument. How are we doing for time? Okay, we got about 20 more minutes. I mean, I pretty much have a kit that I really like in a style coloring that I really like. And I think if I combined this guy's look and color with some of the proportions from the other guy that I was working on yesterday, I am going to I'm going to be okay. So, where are we? This guy here and this guy. I like the proportions on this guy and the way that he's colored and stuff. So if I start mixing that with this, because I think ultimately I really do like I love the way the color has been done on him. I'm gonna try to be able to replicate that by hand. This is just the concept art phase. It's you know what I was saying earlier about how people thought this AI thing was going to be like a magic bullet that you could just tell it what you need and it does it for you. And yes, it can create beautiful artwork just by going blah 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 and it'll spit something out and you can go, "Hey, look what I did." But ultimately, when you're trying to actually create something that's in your head and you're pushing it out, you got to massage this thing and just tweak it until you get the right it's as advanced as it is, it's not entirely simple. I was gonna say I was gonna say it's not an exact uh, science, but technically that's the point. It's an art, not a science. I like the poses here. I mean, the face is not exactly. I mean, the face is consistent. I'm not complaining about that. I think the face is maintaining itself. Like the dulled out colors more. So that's nice. Simplified shoes. Um, what did I do to simplify? Because it did simplify a little too much. Flat muted colors, so it did mute the colors a little bit more than what this guy was here. Um, was it the vector illustration part? No outlines. I mean, it still did outlines, so it didn't obey my command on that. Let's see what happens if I put the no outlines command or prompt with the negative prompt command thing, whatever you call it. I'm still learning. So instead of saying no outlines, which is going to turn it into a negative prompt, no, with the word outlines. And I have a feeling this portion here that says vector illustration is what's making it a little bit more toony, flatter than what this is. I would like to keep this particular style, but um, the best way to keep that is to try to figure out what the hell style it's using in the first place and to specify that going forward. But as far as the character's face, the hair, and all those other things, it's basing it off of this seed number. So as long as I keep this, I'm gonna keep getting the same character pretty much, just in different styles. Oh yeah. Once I have determined, and I think that's probably something I'm gonna do in the next video, because right now it's just concept art, and the fact that we're using this Midjourney artificial intelligence to generate it's freaking miracle, man. It's a superpower that I didn't think I would ever have. So now I have all this concept art, which they tell you, anybody who tells you about how to draw and how to generate images and stuff like that, how to render, they tell you start by gathering references. And the first thing they do is they go on the internet and they look at other people's artwork and all the people's styles, and you generate and you grab all these images that you use as reference for what you're going to do. And it's kind of what I'm doing here. It's kind of what we're doing now, and except that everything that I'm generating is pretty much original stuff. I mean, I didn't draw it, but the computer did it based on the ideas that I'm trying to get out of my head. So I got more than enough reference material so that when I sit down and actually draw this on the tablet, I'm going to be able to come up with a really good character. The body proportions of this kid are amazing. I think that's where I'm going to go as far as the proportions. As far as the proportions are concerned, I do like the coloring style. Some of these gestures and expressions and stuff, I might be able to incorporate because I still want to have a little more of a cartoony feel. All right, let me hit enter on this. I can still continue talking. Uh, so maybe tomorrow or whenever I get back to streaming, I'm gonna open up Adobe Animate and I'm gonna start actually drawing the character as a G2 character template um, based on these concepts. So I'm gonna get rid of the word vector illustration. It's pretty, man, but it's just wow. It's still going too young. I think I need to maybe emphasize age. I wonder if I could just force it to give me a 14-year-old boy. So at this point, also, the important thing is that the main prompt, a handsome black boy, short afro hair, only black hair, wearing a t-shirt, blue jeans, sneakers, big eyes, big lips, big ears. This is important that this never changes. And the only reason it needs to change is if I want to change his hairstyle, I just modify this portion without modifying the rest of it. That's going to keep everything as consistent as possible. But if I add short hair here first, and then I move this forward, and then I change something else, then it's gonna completely throw off the character. It's no longer going to look exactly the same. Like it's not the same face or and things. So within this section here, I'm going to modify handsome 14-year-old Maybe it'll understand 14YO, or maybe I have to spell it out. I don't know. I'm also going to get rid of this vector illustration part. And noticing that it still did outlines even though I told it not to. So it's obviously not respecting that command. But let's see what happens without the vector illustration being specified. I mean, it's probably still going to revert to something closer to this one here. I think it's good to get a solid starting point and an initial burst of inspiration. The rest, as you say, is art. Yep, yep. I mean, it's superpower, man. You just get all this stuff done out of the way. You know, all this thinking that you would normally put in hours of work into to get this kind of level of results. I mean, I'm not the kind of visual person who can see what I'm gonna draw in my mind automatically. I have to experiment. I have to draw sketches. I have to, you know, waste a lot of paper and things, and uh, just saving so much time ultimately, and it's giving me artwork that I can consider to be like almost finished artwork. And I'm like, okay, I'm definitely gonna draw this, but I'm gonna clean out these crazy looking hands. I'm gonna make the legs long. I'm gonna make the I'm gonna focus on, you know, the expressions being this way or whatever. I mean, for concept art, the thing is, you know, maybe in a year or so, once this technology gets a little bit more advanced, you'll be able to say, "This is my character. I want it to stay consistent. I want it to be orthographic, front view, T pose, quarter view, side view, back view, and tell it exactly what you need it to do." In fact, you might be able to even go, you know, break it up into individual pieces so that all I have to do is throw it into Adobe Animate and cut out the parts and piece them together. You know, that might be a thing. You know, I don't know. I think it's a very, very real possibility. I like this particular. I think it respected the no outlines in one of them. Let's see here, right there, the coloring style right here. I think it respected the no outlines for the most part. Definitely didn't do it here, but I do like the muted colors. So are you still using Cartoon Animate 5, or have you given up on that in favor of Adobe? Curious how you can tie this with Cartoon Animator character creation process. I haven't entirely given up on it yet. In fact, I mean, what I'm doing now is I'm using the AI to generate concept art for what's going to be the next version of Billy. Right now we have Billy 2.0, which is a G2 character for Cartoon Animator. Uh, he's a few years old now. I think it's time to upgrade his look, his colors, and style, make him a little bit more mature. The original Billy was maybe 8 to 10 years old. I think the new Billy needs to be about 14 years old. Anywhere between 12 and 14 years old would be a nice age range for him. So what I'm doing now is I'm generating the concept art of what's gonna be the basis for Billy 3.0, and that's gonna be another G2 character for Cartoon Animator. Earlier when I started streaming, I was talking about this actually, and uh, I'm still gonna use Cartoon Animator 4 for the actual rigging part. I'm gonna switch over to Adobe Animate, build the rig, but I'm going to use Cartoon Animator 4 because Cartoon Animator 4 still allows you to work with the color styles. That's a feature that's been taken away from us in Cartoon Animator 5. So if you're a person that works with G2 characters, uh, and don't necessarily have any intentions of working with SVG or Springbone type of stuff, I don't recommend upgrading to Cartoon Animator 5. Cartoon Animator 4 is probably the most powerful version of the software that is available yet, arguably, because quite frankly, Cartoon Animator 3 is, when it comes to G2 characters, is exactly the same. So Cartoon Animator 3 is probably the best version of that tool available. So if you have access to that one, definitely stick with that one. Cartoon Animator 4 gives you some few additional things, but ultimately Cartoon Animator 5, unless you are specifically wanting to create stuff from a single angle at a time using SVG templates, Illustrator, and don't care about G2 characters, then that's the reason you would need Cartoon Animator 5. But it is what it is. I'm going to be building this in Cartoon Animator 4, and because it's mostly where it's compatible, you should still be able to use this in Cartoon Animator 5. Um, because it does have the render style feature, it just doesn't have the vector grouping tool that allows you to create those custom render styles. Um, yeah, I kind of like what I have. Let's see here. I'm gonna download these so I can put together a quick little slideshow. Let's see here. Save image, and we can just kind of take a look at some of the better images that came out of this. Perfect. We got about 8 minutes left, so we're good. I think these were probably the best ones out of the bunch. Most of this at the beginning was just training the AI to give me a consistent look. So ultimately, I could now use this character in different situations. Um, and this is the ones from yesterday's results. And the one that is going to be the main driver for the look and feel are these guys here. So when you combine that one with this, I think I'm gonna have a really good looking character. Yeah, this is gonna be a very, very good looking character thanks to this AI. And I really just don't understand this whole mess with the debates about, oh, AI is gonna take artists' jobs. Dude, come on, man. For one, we're commercial artists. We're not artists. If you're like a real artist, you don't care about money. You just want to do your art and appreciate and have people appreciate it. And be sometime after you're dead, that stuff is going to be worth something. But ultimately, this is an industry, and we work with tools, and we're factories, we're merchants, we produce art products. So this is a new tool that's come out, and embrace it. Embrace it, use it. Don't get left behind. I've learned about that firsthand, like I was saying earlier. I was a hardcore traditional animator, draw by hand, frame by frame. I can tell you how to animate, like of my hand. And I was very, I was a purist. And 3D starts coming in, and to me it was like that's never gonna stick. How can you create animations? How can you call yourself an animator if you don't even know how to draw? All you're doing is manipulating a digital puppet, and um, I got left behind. It's only the last couple of years that I've embraced 3D as a thing, and I kind of hate that I didn't embrace it at the time, because I think I would be so much more advanced now. Um, so with this AI stuff, it's definitely not going anywhere. I was way about computers for drawing. All right. Yeah. Now this Billy 3.0 is gonna be awesome. I think I'm gonna have. I mean, it's been so fun, so much fun already, just coming up with the concepts. And now that I have something substantial, that it's not that I let the computer do the work for me. I have spent, yesterday I spent about 6 hours working these concepts and getting the look and feel. And today during the stream, that's a 2 hours worth of work. It wasn't easy, um, but so it's not like you could just tell the computer to spit the stuff out for you. There's still a little bit of an art form to developing the prompts and massaging the system to give you what you want. It's still not giving me exactly what I want, but it's enough, right, for me, that I can take what I see here and just run with it. Um, we have a few minutes left. I'm gonna play around with some styles now. Imagine photo realistic uh, portrait. We're going to put our prompt in here. We're going to take away the muted colors. We're going to take away the multiple poses. We're going to leave the original prompt intact. We're going to put them in a city. Uh, Night, city. We want it to be cinematic. We want to see rain. We want it all to be wet. Uh, we want to see little bokeh, blurry from the lights. Let's see what it spits out. I want to see, because basically it should keep the actual face and everything that we arrived at here, because we're using the same seed, but now it's going to change the style completely and give us a portrait in a supposed to be a more realistic cinematic of the actual boy. I need to make it a little darker. I it's not green screen. It's a projection. So there's a little laser projector right behind my chair that only needs to be about a couple inches away from the wall, which prevents me from putting shadows on the wall. And so yeah, I can walk in front of it, and since it's not like a normal projector, I'm not killing it, with my shadow. So it's not very obvious. But I need to work with the colors to make the colors not so muted, because it's still a little bit light. I mean, in person it looks great, but on camera it does look a little muted, but I think it's the lighting. It kind of it takes away some of the lighting, so it makes it more muted. But yeah, this is the same technology that's being used now, I guess, in like virtual action from Unreal. That's is one of the little tricks that I got from working on Unreal. Um, but I don't have an LED screen, so I'm using projectors. So this is a fairly, it's not very photorealistic, but it's not, it's still, what do you call it? It's still a bit painterly. But look at the bokeh, the city, how the out of focus effects here, wet skin. Let's see here. You got that wet skin. You got that out of focus bokeh effect. You got rain. You got the city in the background. If I can get the right wording, I'm sure I can get a more realistic version of this guy. Let's see. Ultra realistic in the front. I guess we don't need outlines. We'll put wet bokeh, um, 85 millimeter lens, 8K HDR. Let's see what all it does. Let's throw in the kitchen sink at it. The projector's on the floor. The projector's right on the floor, and see if I run my hand through it. I don't know if you can see that. If I get really close to the wall, you can see it there. But it's on the floor, so it's projecting upwards, so the shadow is casting up. But yeah, I need to play around with the colors, maybe make it like really dark since I know it's going to be losing a lot of that gamma. If I make it look dark, maybe it'll look normal on screen. So that's something else I'm gonna be requiring to play with, but it's a cute effect. It's definitely better than the green screen stuff. You can get completely throw people off because you have, glass. People have like fine hair details and stuff. So it's like no artifacting on the green screen. So yeah, if you guys can get your hands on a little projector, highly recommend it. It doesn't take that much room and a million times better than green screen. Maybe I'll do some videos and tutorials on doing stuff like that later on. I didn't do the prompt properly. So let's see what it spits out. It should pretty much generate the same image as above, but now it's using an 85 millimeter lens, so it's going to be a little bit more zoomed in. Um, and I don't know if this HDR stuff or 8K is going to have any bearing on the quality, but oh yeah, it looks very nice. So let's do one more style and then we'll call it a day for today. I think I have enough. In the next video, I'm gonna see about working with Adobe Animate to actually start building the character template for Cartoon Animator. Let's see here. Anime style, highly detailed Muted colors. Let's get rid of this. No outlines. Flat, faded, muted colors. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it should be fun. A little bit more laid down because at that point I'm just kind of drawing, and a lot of the stuff that I will be doing is stuff that I've already done for in a lot of my building G2 characters streams, but will give us another reason to continue talking about AI and actually seeing a G2 character, a more advanced character with like really high art quality being put together. Look at this. Yeah. So one of the other projects that I want to do is at some point I'm gonna focus on different sceneries and things like that, and see if I can come up with a way to generate backgrounds using the AI, and also generating like complete sky domes that you can use as background inside of iClone or Unreal Engine, and also a way of making painterly textures. Like for example, this building here, this kind of there's a building here that's made of like different bricks and stuff. I mean, there's obviously already models and stuff that are 3D made and everything. And if you can just bring in that type of paint job in the form of textures, that you can overwrite the default 3D model with those paints, those painterly textures, they don't need to use cell shaders or filters and stuff. You could just texture your models using painterly textures and stuff. So that's another thing that I want to play around with, and I'm going to be focusing on a lot this year, as far as the type of videos that I do. So, all right, guys, for everybody that did come in, that's still around, I want to thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for your questions, Pradish, Creative Soul TV, One Gun, everybody who came in and chatted with me. Um, look forward to the next one. And anybody else who is catching this after the fact has any additional questions about what I did here, or wants to bitch and moan about how, AI is going to take away your job, yeah, send your comments my way. I'm more than happy to argue the opposing view to you. But other than that, guys, take care, and it was really nice being on this stream again. It's been a while, but yeah, talk to you guys soon.